Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 10 and 11 in the Symphogear GX reaction series. Excited to be back here again for Symphogear Thursday. And I say that because I'm doing a mass recording of stuff on the Thursday. I have Thursday off generally most weeks. This is what I'm going to try to do now. Just get a lot of the recording done so I don't have to bother recording when I'm tired after work. I feel like it's producing a worse product, in my personal opinion. Therefore, I've had a bit of lunch, I've recorded Kubikiri Cycle this morning, and I'm ready to tackle some Symphogear. But I do say that at like 2 p.m. So it could be an element of me doing an episode today and an episode tomorrow. We'll see how all that works. I'll see how I feel at the end of Symphogear GX10 today. Either way, jumping into the comments for this week, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's episode. First comment here by Jaramero435. Let's go, our boy is back. The man of the hour, saver of mankind, last action hero. Much to my hatred, Ver is seemingly back. I have some speculation about what his role will be in the story. In this scene right here, right now, it's very obvious what his role is. I think he's just a distraction to help Carol get out of a jam, basically, but we will see. Looking forward, I guess, to watching more Vern now. Next comment here by Bamps. Maria coming in defense of her wife in front of her father, only to learn that grandfather was really father and Uncle Genjiro was really a half-brother. I didn't really think about the family implications that hard, but yeah, that's kind of fucked up. And yeah, Ogawa's good at ninja shit too. Very, very true. Next comment here by Seraph Armoros. I think there was a couple comments going into the diagram. Yeah, it's basically just power distribution, as we've seen through the rest of the season so far. There's been a lot of looks into power. There's a power station. They were underground. She was on that little small computer there doing some power stuff as well. They were there to figure out where the power is being directed so they can find the palace facility and the keystone shrines. Okay, that would make sense. Alright, cool. Pacing matches the plot in that everybody is very competent, so stuff happens quickly. That's not really a struggle here for the Symphogear gang in general. They've done this a number of times now. They know what their roles are, you know what I mean? There's no like fish out of water stuff to it. They can just kind of go and do it now, which is nice. Neptune's Palace isn't probably a great translation. Maybe Undersea Dragon's Palace or Dragon King's Palace of the Abyss would be a more accurate translation. I'm gonna go with Neptune's Palace. It's less of a mouthful there. And Unnerb, we're gonna call them, was a World War II German think tank with ties to occultism and musicology. I guess in Symphogear it survived in secret and its researchers helped fellow Symphogears. There is a lot of data about this, so I'm thinking it becomes relevant. We will see. Carol's reaction is also my reaction to Dr. Ver, which is utter horror and disappointment and everything else that comes between that. Couple comments here from Vitaly Kuzmin. Yes, very embarrassing in front of the girlfriend. And what was the reaction this time? Yeah, it was just me despairing at the fact that Ver had returned, which is certainly what I feel. CKOD, next comment here. A hero's triumphant return. Everyone loves Ver, but me. A hero's triumphant return, eh? Not for me. He's the villain. I hate that guy. Shinsasu with a bit of a longer comment this time. I also really disliked Ver on my first viewing. There are dozens of us, truly. Now he's my favorite joke, because that's what he is. He's an over-the-top idiot meme joke. I do prefer him in his seemingly comic relief-esque role in this season. It fits him a lot better than actual antagonist that has to do evil stuff. I find, yeah, again, we've been through the... He's kind of funny. It's mostly memes, guys, come on. A German lesson. We had the word Annenerb, meaning Anne, and then Erb, ancestor inheritance. Quick Google, yeah, that's some bad World War II stuff about stealing foreign art and relics in human experiments. Again, seemingly relevant, right? Symphogear 3.5. I'll bring this up early, since we have a few episodes left in Season 3. I don't consider this a spoiler, because you probably won't know it without the comment. There's something called Symphogear 3.5 from the mobile gacha game. One of the few stories in that is canon. There's also 4.5, but that one's not as important. It's also called the Alexandria Incident in lore. Okay. It's not something that can be reacted to or super important, but I just wanted to mention it if you wanted to check it out when the time comes, kind of like the concerts. Interesting. I wonder if yeah, somebody could link me when the time comes on Discord and I'll have a little bit of a read just so I'm up to scratch on all of that. Why bring this up now? It's getting to about that time, and there's a few interesting points of world building, such as Swordbreaker, which I think is the Farah thing that'll come back in it. Awesome. Pacing and episode structure. Structure used in the last few episodes is one of my biggest problems with the later seasons. It's one of the things I prefer about Season 1 and why it's my favorite season. It has better pacing, arcs, and episode structure. I think Season 1 had its own problems with this kind of stuff because it needed to introduce a lot of it, which made it feel very jam-packed as well. I do think we are getting to a point where we're trying to get through a lot of stuff very quickly to get to our climax, and that's cool because, I mean, it's Symphogear and we just expect it at this point, and they're doing cool stuff along the way, so it's less noticeable. But I guess once we get to the climax, we'll see if the sacrifices here were worth it. I guess that's my view on it right now. Cursed thoughts, yeah, I don't want Tsubasa to be calling anybody Oni-chan. That truly is a cursed thought. Next comment here by Fusel. Unnerb is a compound noun made up of, ancestor and inheritance. So more or less it means ancestor's legacy. Sweet. Pencil sharp here with the next one. This probably is my personal favorite Symphogear episode. I really enjoyed it too. I don't know if I would go this far. I think I like some of the climaxes to the seasons better. But I think it's one of the better episodic episodes in that what happens to Tsubasa, I think, is actually a pretty good revelation. Pretty shocking, and all the stuff that comes from that, the character development, the reconfirmation of what we'd learned in the past is pretty strong. I agree with that part of it, yes. There's a cool parallel with Tsubasa and her dad. Last season, when she wanted to stop Hibiki from fighting, Tsubasa used the same technique of being aggressive and demeaning, trying to protect her. And the lyrics for Beyond the Blade are really cool too. Yeah, I remember this. It's like she has the heart relic thing and she can't do anything, so we need to be mean so she doesn't do anything. That's interesting, right? And again, much like with the dad, if they just talked to dad, it would have been fine. But again, that's the whole meme of the show, right? Next comment here by Ray Shadow. Kirika's des at the end of the sentence. Yes, it's a vocal tick. The des is it's when you're using very formal language, and I guess she's adopted that as a little bit of a cuteness thing, which I like. Yep, we just talked about this one as well. There's definitely some lineage there between their treatment of the situations. We call GX the season of daddy issues, but the worst offender is definitely Top Dad. Yes, we've been through this. Yatsuhiro, he's not that bad. He's not winning Dad of the Year. I agree with this. Nowhere near as bad. He's just a bad communicator, which is forgivable enough. His intentions, and he's kind of harder in a pretty good place, if not the most correct place, you know what I mean? And yes, Ver is back. In Neptune's Palace, it is a place that is highly dangerous and where heretical technology is stored. Ver is part Nephilim, so you can't put him in a regular prison, and they're just going to put him in the place with all the relics. So, Nephilim eats relics. This is going to be bad. He's powered up Ver, which is a scary, scary thought. And Carol's face at the end perfectly encapsulates the entire fandom's reaction to Ver showing up. Well, not the entire fandom, some of you like him. It's like this stunned shock of disappointment, right? Oh yeah, somebody picked up on the reference too. Thanks, Bamps. Yeah, I made a Guardians 2 reference right there. Yeah, I at least tried to. I think I fucked it up. Otro's back again here. Hell yeah, Ver, the worst action hero. Yeah, this is some worst. I told you you're never gonna escape from Ver. Hell yeah. I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun having him back for a little bit, just in small doses, maybe. Ayako Nya, Ver is the gift that keeps on giving. Praise be to the hero's return. No. Yeah, I think we covered this one as well. Bad at communicating. There's some kind of giant moon-powered curse that's doing this, right? The kind of central conceit of almost the show at this point. Something that's already broken can't be repaired. One could argue that you could only repair something when it's broken. Yeah, good point, but she's give Hibiki a break, she's not the best with words. Next comment here by Killer Cake. Just catching up on these, Symphogear is my favourite anime and your reactions to it have been great. A good introduction to your channel too, I'll have to check out some other series. Yeah, I don't know if the rest of you have checked out the rest of the channel, but I've done... What have I done now? Land of the Lustrous, Panty and Stocking, Monogatari. I sounded really weird there, Monogatari. It's like I'm some American. Tatami Galaxy, Chainsaw Man... not much else, I don't think. I think that's it. Oh, Kubikiri Cycle's out right now, I guess. Yeah, there's lots of stuff to check out if you're an anime fan. Go back through the backlog. Those first episodes are kind of rough, but I've got myself into a bit of a rhythm now, which I find a little bit better. And yes, for those that don't know, Review Starlight out after Kubikiri cycle as well. So I know there's a crossover there between the Symphogear audience, so please be excited for that. I think I'll cover these two comments up here first before I dive into Kasogtha's, which is very, very long. Adil just says, my hero saved the lolly, which I'm pretty sure is in reference to Ver again, and yes, he did save Carol, who is a lolly. This is correct. This is factual information. And Folkus, I love your disdain of wearing pants while recording. Well, I'm wearing shorts this time, which is a lot more comfortable. When you're wearing your work pants, you just don't feel right watching anime. I don't know, it still feels like I'm on the job. Either way, Kasogtha, comment here. I did not pick this starting part up very well. Miku interrupts Hibiki's normal line when she's saying that she's okay, right? Like, the wife knows your script. That's not going to fly today. She wants to make sure that you're actually okay. Clarifying a lot of stuff about the diagram, right? So you think about all the power stuff and all we went through. So think about it, damaging the power plant, have to send different other power to the underwater base, get to that kind of underground area where there's that computer, log into that, they're sending stuff over here, we need to get into there to get the relic to do the thing, to do the apocalypse. I think that makes sense, right? Dance Macabre, the Dance of Death, an old allegory for the universality of death. It's clear that Farah means it as a threat and jab, but Tsubasa says even death dances to our tune, which is kind of badass. Nice little connection there. It's always a treat to go frame by frame whenever Farah is around. She makes absolutely deranged faces. I'll have to have a look at that as well. We're talking about geisa? Scottish and Irish folklore, something like a binding oath. So I've read through this. What was the connection to the rest of the episode? I'm forgetting where geese was even brought up. This was a pretty interesting little tale too, especially the connections to Tolkien, considering his history. This kind of folklore would have a lot of influence on Lord of the Rings, you would think, right? And yes, the Macbeth kind of allusions as well too. But that's getting away from Symphogear. I just don't know how this relates to what happened in Symphogear, but sure, I forget. It's been a week. We're going through a lot of the relics that were in Neptune's palace, so Trioxin 245. This is like some SCP shit. Gas capable of reanimating the dead from the Living Dead franchise. Annabelle, a haunted doll. The focus of the Doll of Grief event in the gacha game. So that's funny. Also, Annabelle is also another different haunted doll franchise now, I think, right? Garn fragments from Brian Lumley's portion of the expanded Cthulhu mythos. That's a fucking pull as well, Jesus. Yeah, so are they just like a bunch of references to a bunch of other stuff? That's pretty fun. Grosswine. An ancient super weapon from Wild Arms. That's cool. That's a nice reference as well. Because Wild Arms, again, one of the previous works. I don't think it's Precious. Well, maybe it is Precious. I've never experienced Wild Arms. Maybe it is. Bind Towels. We can't seem to find what that's about. But then there's Yantra Savaswa. I'm going to say. Probably butchered it. But all about machines, a supposed historical document from India which is claimed to detail mechanics of flight as well as flying machines. Oh, okay. And yeah, this is relevant to whatever plan they're putting together. It can control machines. It's clearly important to interact with the chateau. I think that's what we're doing there. Not that it really matters, but the implication has always been to me that Yatsuhiro had been distant from Tsubasa as she grew up. We only hear of one incident of him shouting or pushing away her with his words. On both occasions we see the scene. He's visibly drunk. I don't remember this, but sure. Not great, but at least a sign that behavior is pretty uncommon. Okay. So maybe, yeah, just gets a little bit drunk, gets in his feelings a little bit. It's not great, but we'll give him a pass. It's better than Top Dad, at least. And yeah, lots of stuff about Farah as well, kind of linking her to Archangel Raphael. Element as wind, dances flamenco, sounds like a mechanical metal clock. And then, yes, Dr. Ver has finally returned as well. So yeah, thanks for the comments this week, and yeah, just a little bit of a recap state of play here before we jump into episode 10 here. Another episode similar structural to the last couple, kind of with initial battle against the foe, and then they come back later on the second battle, we defeat them, but they're also very happy about being defeated. Hibiki is going through it, she has a whole dad stuff going on. It's seemingly unresolved right now. There's only a few scenes of it in that episode, kind of one at the very start and one at the very end. I'm imagining she's going to run into the fray at some point here once this apocalypse of all creation is starting to become a greater threat, you would think, right? Either way, the plot of this episode, episode 9, figured out some stuff about the autoscorers and what they're doing with the thing and the power and the finding the Neptune's palace and all that stuff, the keystones, all those elements to it. Therefore, we're going to send Tsubasa and Mario to one of the keystones, which is also within her father's home. And then we're going to send Kirika, Shirabe, and Chris to the palace itself to go suss out Carol and Liu, who have made their way there. In the meantime, Elf 9 is just kind of chilling, which is cool as well. The daddy stuff plays out with Tsubasa. If you didn't know, her daddy ain't her daddy, it's her half-brother, because the granddad did some sus stuff because of family lineage reasons, and then the dad secretly behind kind of everything has been like, you should leave the family and go and pursue better things, and has made sacrifices to do that. Again, kind of a similar structure as kind of a low point into a high point as the other episodes, but this one hits a little bit better for me, as I explained last week. Chris and Co are after Carol and Liu at Neptune's palace, as I've said before. Carol gets her hands on that one relic, whatever it was called, Yantra, whatever it's called, I forget. And that's going to control the chateau, and that's bad, and we need to get it out of her hands. A small battle ensues. Carol stumbles, similar to how she stumbles at the start of the episode, and Ver jumps in out of nowhere and saves her, jumps out of the fucking walls. So he's cool. And yeah, Ver is back, much to my hatred, I guess. Predictions. Ver is basically a distraction in the plot. I don't feel like he's got some grand relevance. I don't feel like it's a huge plot reveal. It's more of an overall series kind of fun reveal, right? You get to see Ver again. He's going to be around, but he's not really going to impact much of what's going on. He's probably going to attack the people that were attacking him last season rather than these new people. So he's not a wild third party. He's probably helping Carol, even if he doesn't know that he is. Either way, it's going to be enough of a distraction for Carol to put some pieces into place and start enacting the plan. The rest of the cast will get involved when this plan starts to eventuate. There'll be a climax over the next 4 episodes, basically, something similar to previous seasons. Hibiki will need to get involved. I wonder if we're going to resolve the dad stuff in this somehow. I don't see how that's possible. But maybe it's a continuing thing in the rest of the series, I don't know. But wasn't the whole thing that they thought that this was the end of the series as well, much like the other seasons, so they can't really do much building upon stuff and that kind of thing. Ver will get incapacitated at some point, hopefully permanently, and stay out of my goddamn show, and Carol will go big. Carol will obviously be the big bad, and we need to talk her down. Clearly she has some amount of sense to her. Clearly she's not just going to be super mega evil like a Ver. She's got some element of sympathy, sympathetic motivations, that kind of thing, right? Either way, just going to jump into the episode now, but not before I do my show stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join the Discord, love the Discord. And yeah, gonna jump into episode 10 of Symphogear GX right now. Rightio, got episode 10 up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on the screen there. 23 minutes, 40 seconds, pretty standard. And yeah, just gonna jump into this one and give it a 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, D-Truck subs, picture-in-picture, that kind of bag as well. And yeah, rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh god, the music. Very loud immediately. Okay, seems like he's in a good mental state. That's good. Alright, he's kind of based. I don't even care at this point. It's time for me to break out of prison. And there's Carol. Carol's like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? Mm-hmm. There he is. Classic. Alright, and then the opening as well. Nice. Okay. So that was pretty quick. That was, what, 30 seconds? Yeah, pretty much. Just kind of explaining a couple things about Ver. Think about how Ver was introduced in the show. He was just like kind of on a train, just kind of in the background. It's like, he's very important to the rest of the show. That's fun. I do give Ver a lot of shit. The performance is incredible. Just the amount of scenery chewing in it is quite amazing. And we're still keeping an eye for opening changes as well. Hibiki? This is my favorite part here at the end, kind of that like call and response. Yeah, give him a good old punch. What was it? Eh. Give us some of your good Link, you coward. That's funny. They're like, ugh. I agree. Carol's just like going with it. Why is that shameful? You kind of predicted that the doctor was here. Okay, Carol's back. Alright. She's out of her stupor. Yeah, get him, Chris. Oh, what a pussy. Nah. I thought I felt a song coming on. Lead cures stupidity? That's pretty good. He's terrible. I hate Ver. Yeah, just murder all of the noise. Don't need their help. No, that's the bad lesson. Don't take that one. Oh, she's gone too mad. Was she being a little bit reckless? Well. Bro, was she like just shooting randomly? Like, Chris, calm down. No, we can't work together. Whoa, the push though. Come on. Come on, Chris. This isn't how you find a place to belong. Come on. Wouldn't you be the only people that would know he was there? It is getting messy, you're right. Yeah, what does this mean? This is interesting. A world destructor. I just built a world destructor. You have no power here. Oh, interesting shot. And we have the same memories, right? Ooh, it's a little bit philosophical. Well, now you're a homunculus as well, right? From what happened to you later on. Ooh, and she was remembering that. Okay. Indeed. Do you? Oh yeah, I guess you did know that. They wiped her from the collective consciousness. Yeah, give Ver his rights back, damn it. Yeah, making it stronger. Give me my furry arm. I don't know. The scent of the chaos is good too. Why do you keep thinking you're the hero? I would not touch that man. Okay, you're more confident than I think. You're at the bottom of the sea. Oh god, just kick the wall. Chris is hilarious this episode. Like, just think for a second, bro. Working together? No, boo. Time to battle. Oh, we're back. Okay. Weird. Yeah. That's nice of you. Ah. You were ripped apart. I don't like this. Scary. I don't like that. Do they really not like dubstep or something? They're playing like Hollow Knight or something. There is a mole among us. Among Us reference. Yeah, it's Elfnine. She could see through the eyes, right? Who's calling? Miku? Yes. What was your response? Oh, really? That's out of nowhere. What are you going to say to him? Oh, he's got some beach pictures. That's nice. Oh, get Uno reverse carded. It's the Japanese, it is what it is. I'm running out of it is what it is. There you go, she's feeling better, that's alright. Yeah, determination in the eyes. You've had a mole among us your whole time. Oh, that's foreboding. Elfenine, shut your eyes. Stop saying it. What is you? Oh! Stand power. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with putting this on the table now, at least. This is creepy. Oh, I see. Yes, it was. Okay. Alright, we're putting that on the table too. Sucks to be Elf 9. Yeah, which makes what you said before kinda... Anyway. Yeah. It's true. Please lock me away. Yeah, it's too late. That's why she's revealing the plan. Oh god. Okay. Was that an invisibility cloak? What the hell was that? Cursed melody from the Gears is interesting too. Oh, interesting. No, not the moon. Genjiro. Yeah. Thank you, blue friend. Oh, they actually got named. Elfman remembered their names. That's impressive. Thanks, Dad. Oh, Carol's so mad. Well, that was good voice acting. I like that. Okay. Chris. Chris attacks. She has so many dice. Yeah, hit him up. Igalima. Well, that was cool. Oh, alright, that's pretty cool. Like passing through it. I don't feel like I've seen this one though. Maybe I'm just forgetful. Yeah, give us that Des. I've heard this song though. Yeah, hit him with the alpha style. I don't feel like Chris is in a good mind space to be doing this kind of stuff, but anyway. These like coin swords? Like, oh my god. What do you call those things? They're like ninja shit. Alright, that was actually rad as hell, like animation wise. Oh yeah, you have the kaiju, right? Why does Carol hate everybody so much? I guess she's got pretty good reason to. That's cursed image. Big coin. Holy shit. they're getting pancaked. Alright, Chris, we're gonna need you to stand up. Yeah. You sucked. You were a bad senpai. Oh yeah, okay, that's a good connection there, I think, right? Yeah, it will. It's true. Is Leah just like watching this? Nah, okay, she's doing some action. We didn't get pancaked after all. Now it's time for you to stand up. Well, this music's lovely though. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, the acoustic guitars too. You don't hear a lot of acoustic guitars in Symphogear. Yeah, somebody tell me whatever this track is. It's killer. Pop off. It's time to ignite out. I like how this links back to her initial ignite freakout too. That's nice. Yeah, musically, God, this show's strong. It's time to go. All right, let's shoot some guns. Whoa! Can't be swearing like that. Crossbow gun. The fights have been rad too. Just hit her with the gun. Hello, parents. The singing too. But where's the little sister in all of this? Did you rotate the? Yeah, I can. Oh, I can rely on others to stop it. But also that little smile, like we know now as an audience, but they don't because the lack of communications there. Holy shit. That's pretty metal. Alright, cool. We murdered the shit out of her. We did it. Too bad, like the big bad is about to occur. Also, Ver is seemingly sticking around, which is disappointing, to say the least. Oh yeah, little sister. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I won't be very happy that the big sister's been blowed up. No, you've been fine. Let's go, superstar. How do you know that? Oh, you're talking about the dad thing. Ah, that's that's really bad. Oh shit. She just karate chopped that submarine. Alright, that episode is pretty cool. Weirdly enough, probably the weakest part of it was the Chris stuff, I think. Which is just a little bit obvious, I think. That felt like a really condensed version of it, because we had to do the whole Elf9 reveal and a bunch of other plot stuff with Carol and Ver and that kind of stuff in the middle of this episode too, as well as a couple check-ins with Hibiki. Yeah, as a result, probably not as strong as it could be. Again, I like Chris's arc and that kind of stuff, right? And I like her being the senpai now and that kind of thing. But yeah, just could have been executed better. Aesthetically though, the fights this episode were rad as hell. I liked how creepy the half of Farah was. The music, killer, like killer. It makes me feel like if they turned like down the volume sometimes and did a little bit more like strings, acoustic numbers, and that kind of thing, it'd pop off. If there's a couple more quieter moments to show off that music. But yeah, what they had there was beautiful. Like one of the standout instrumental pieces of the show for sure, in my opinion. And yeah, jumping into a little bit of analysis on episode 10 right here, right now. Yeah, episode 10, got a lot of my thoughts of it out in the ED there. It had its high points, it had its low points, it was pretty good. Looking forward to watching another one very, very soon. But yeah, I guess we'll stop and have a look. It was still very entertaining, of course, as Symphogear always is. Never skimps out on the entertaining, I think. Quite funny too, the verse stuff kind of hit. I guess people's reactions to Ver more than anything else, and him still being like a massive pussy. But yeah, I guess we just dive in here. I don't have much else to say, rather than I guess I was completely right about the whole Dinesleaf Elf9 stuff, but I think at a certain point they do it enough times that it's like there's really something at foot here. Like you guys should really have a look at this, and then yeah, as a result, I kind of figured it all out. But that's good. That means there's more interesting directions for it to go now that I have done that. You know what I mean? It'd be more surprising now that I don't know that. There's more to play out here. From what I don't know how the auto scorers are going to come back though, because they were just recording essentially. They were playing their role. But yeah, Carol was in on it. That was my little prediction was that Carol wasn't in on it, and there was going to be some betrayal at the hands of the auto scorers of Carol, if that makes any sense. But that wasn't what I thought it was. So yeah, I wonder if the auto scorers will come back whenever we trigger this apocalypse of all creation or whatever the hell. So we'll see. Seemingly our submarine base is gone too. So hopefully everyone makes it out. I'm pretty sure they will. It's just like your base is gone instead of like your people are gone, I guess. I don't know. How many people on that base? Is it just like the people on the bridge, or is there like people behind the scenes? Because it'll be bad news for them. Either way, random questions. I guess I should talk about what's on screen, and it's Ver being totally not insane, I guess. Yeah, Ver loves the chaos, as we found out last season, and yeah, he's looking for more chaos, hence why he teams up with Carol at the end of the episode, essentially. Again, much to my disgust. It sounds like the time for a hero, and then the scene from the end of the last episode basically plays out. Yeah, I don't know his whole like action hero idea, but it's so warped that like how can you even think that? Again, he's insane. He can do what he wants, I guess. Yeah, episode 10, The World is Cruel, but I mean, I wouldn't even put that but there. The world is cruel is just true. So okay, I guess like overall this scene, right? Ver is here. Ver is targetable. We should get rid of Ver. Ver sucks. Anyway, we've been through all that, right? Chris wants to kill Ver. They won't let Chris kill Ver because they need the linker. And he makes the good linker. They have the bad linker. Like, it's just makes sense, right? If we could trap him in a room and not let him out, and just, like, enslave him to make a linker, that'd be alright. But again, Link has a lot of bad implications as well. Maybe we shouldn't have Linker. I don't know. We'll see. Sharave's reaction is my reaction upon seeing Ver's ugly head again. So Chris in this episode internalizes a lot of shame for not being able to stand up in front of her kohai, and then again when her kohai are put in immense pressure, like squashed between two coins, she feels bad for caring too much about how she looks and not about their well-being. I think that's a lot of what we're getting at. Then that links into her being alone. Like the world is a cruel place. Kind of linking into the title there. The world is a cruel place, but we should put our arms around each other and move forward. Can't help but agree. Carol throws out some alkanoids just to distract. Ver is a massive pussy, so he hides behind this shield. Look at her, she's just posing Leo, she's just going. That's pretty fun. I like that. Casually JoJo posing. And we jump into a Chris song here that is interrupted by the end because we realize that, hey, she's kind of just recklessly shooting at everything. I will give these a read, though, just so we have something to contrast with when we read the final version in the episode. We've got bullets just for you at a discount price. You can get it cheap, because lead cures stupidity. Which I think is a very, very strong lyric. One of her strongest, it must be. Again, not exactly blessed with the greatest vocabulary in the world, but she doesn't need it. She gets the point across. A lot of I guess, vigor in the singing, I guess I would say. A lot of emphasis on the last bit. Very almost musical-esque. Time to start the gunfire party. It's a Gatling rodeo, baby. And yeah, Ver's just chewing up scenery as he does as well. You can't really hate it at this point. Again, when he's out here like slapping Maria and being annoying, that's when I don't like him. When he's just like yucking it up, I guess. I don't mind him too much. He's alright. If you want to file your complaints to the world, you better get out of my range first. You've brought the wrath of the gods, the sun, and me. I've lived my life hiding my tears, and my back is covered in scars. But Chris is, again, just shooting wildly. She won't really hit Leo. She's kind of just like dancing around, prancing around. And the Kohai are in danger, the whole facility they're in. Like, think about it, right? The whole premise of that last action scene is that Chris needs to fire strongly in a straight line with like some amount of finesse and planning and reliance on others and these kind of things, rather than just like spray and pray. And the whole location they're in is a testament to that, right? If they bust one of the walls open, it's going to start flooding and ruin everything, basically, right? That's terrible. We don't want that. So yeah, there's lots of reasons why she shouldn't be just firing randomly. But I can still stand up, and then interrupted by Kirika here. And then yeah, she didn't even realize that the bad guys have gotten away. She was just kind of still shooting and singing. Kirika and Shirabe apologize slightly for the whole Ver thing and stopping her from attacking Ver, and then gets pushed away. I don't need help from my juniors. Screw all this holding hands and pretending we're best friends. I'll get this done myself. If this isn't as clear as possible to anybody that's in Symphogear that this is a bad idea, like, I don't know what is, And yeah, internalizing all of this senpai, I have to be better, I have to show them the correct way, I have to be tough mentality to it all, which I think suits Chris quite well. So we've prevented Carol from obtaining the final piece she needed for the Chateau, Yantra Savasva. But she still keeps going, so clearly she still has a plan to activate it. This wasn't as necessary as we thought. Maybe Ver can assist in some way here. Then this is interesting. So we fade away from Elf9 here to a flashback that we think is happening in Elf9's head, right? To what Elf9 was thinking when she found out that the true version of the Chateau that she's been creating was actually like a world-ending super weapon. Which is certainly a revelation that the thing you've been building is that. That sucks. I'm sure a lot of people that built like Kadingir had a similar reaction too, but I digress. It's interesting that when we fade up back out of this, it's not Elf9 thinking it is instead Carol. Again, I'm pretty sure we're going to do something redemptive there. You'd have to think so, right? Interesting little challenge here too, right? Okay, so think about this. You can't have these memories and internalize them and make decisions about them because you're a homunculus. Carol, in this scene right now, in this time in the show, isn't a homunculus, I don't think. Maybe she is, I don't fucking know. But now she is, right? So the difference between Elf9 and Carol isn't as great as you would think at this point. And again, they're built on the same memories, right? Like, why are they so different? Anyway, I'm sure just different memories take different spots and stuff. More will be revealed, I'm sure. I don't know what considered a giant flask means, but sure. I guess we're going to see some visual representation for that at some point, which will make it a little bit more clear. I still love the father in my memories. You must love him too. Nice little leitmotif there in the music, which I enjoyed too. And then, yeah, Carol freaks out. Have no right to call yourself his daughter or to speak on his behalf, you homunculi. And then just like lets her go. I mean, and I guess she just pinches Dinesleaf's stuff as she's leaving. But this ended up being a crucial element to the plan. I thought there would be more motivation there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, and Carol, again, as I said, the one that woke up and had that vision. And then Carol and Ver start to speak. They find out that their motivations align somewhat and they're going to pursue that, which again, I hate. But Carol already had some amount of knowledge about Ver from the Frontier incident. I think that had been established in the past that she has been kind of watching from the sidelines as all this has occurred. She calls him a fascinating man, which I can't help but disagree. Either way, Ver wants to go to the center of the chaos, which is very in fitting with what he's been doing so thus far. That's where the hero shines, in the center of the chaos. Very delusional Ver, and if there's one place it's going to be chaos, it's a Symphogear finale, so if he's making his way there, he's on the right track. Underrated little funny line here is that you have to tell me all about this Nephilim on the way. It's like, do we have enough time? Like, Ver's just gonna keep spouting nonsense about it because he's cringe. But yeah, the reason why she has the time is because, again, she's been seeing through Elf9's eyes. She knows exactly what their heroes are doing. There's no amount of drama there. There's no lack of knowledge, right? She can act in the correct way because she has all the information. Chris is getting scolded by Genjiro, who's like, you know you're at the bottom of the sea, right? Don't just shoot random shit. And then she kicks the wall. Don't bring logic into this. Chris is just on fire this episode in her stupid arc. She's gone crazy. Here are the blast doors for each block and their respective switches. This is what we use in the climax of the episode, I believe. That's why Kirika and Shirabe are involved. They memorize a lot of this. Again, they can't memorize all of that themselves. Like, one of them can't memorize it all, but if they memorize half each, it becomes a lot easier. Again, talking to this sharing the load, spreading of stuff, you don't need to take it all on your shoulders, Chris, type message to the episode. Now, this is pretty spooky. This is Farah. This is what's left of her, and she still has the ability to speak. And yeah, she's pretty freaky. The eyes are going all over the place. Like, it's pure, like, manic and horror shit. I don't really, doesn't really make me feel good. But it was a wonderful cursed melody that made me feel as though I was ripped apart. And that's what we're looking for. That's what I needed to record. And we pair a lot of the reveals here. We pair, like, 3 levels of reveals, basically, right? Okay. So we have the stuff with Farah and Tsubasa and Maria and all that stuff. We have Chris, Kirika, Shirabe running, right? They're running to try and find Carol and Co. and try to attack them and do all that shit, right? They're essentially in like a Metroidvania map and they need to find where they need to go. But as these 3 are approaching the bad guys keep making the perfect turns. That's because Elf9 is looking directly at the screen, where she's just telling them exactly where they need to go to avoid them, which is kind of funny. It's though they know your exact location, we seemingly have a traitor among us. Among Us reference. In between this, we get a nice little breather with Hibiki having a nice conversation with Miku. She seemingly has decided to meet with her father one more time. I don't know where this has come from, considering last episode, the last line we got from her was like, I don't think this can be repaired, or something to that effect. So she must have had a change of heart, I guess. However, Hibiki is still a little bit scared at the prospect, which I guess is fair enough. If we have a little look here at the room, it's quite nice. It's got a couple photos of stuff that's gone on in the past. I don't know what the hell's going on over here, but sure. Go off, I guess. Yeah, she's just studying, I guess. I'm surprised she isn't in hospital with Hibiki. That's how much she would... Miku swings that line back on Hibiki here with a Heiki Heichara, which he tried to say in the previous episode but got cut off. Seemingly these are the magic words that help me through any situation, no matter how tough. It's essentially the male it is what it is, which is what we say whenever something bad happens, like my team gets absolutely destroyed at football game or something, right? It is what it is. It's the ultimate protectant, right? From anything that has hurt you. Oh, she dumped you. It is what it is. Like, it means nothing, but it makes you feel better. I like that. There was a mention previous in the show of magic words associated with the father. So I'm imagining if this is coming to fruition as well, maybe these are his magic words, which makes sense. considering what I just said as well. It is a very male thing to do. Just bundle it all down. It is what it is, you know? Very male thing to do. Yeah, definitely. You should thank those magic words of yours. She's looking in a reflection. Yes, I should. That's clearly part of where we're going with the dad, I think. And now we get a bunch of reveals from Farah and co about what has actually been happening this entire time. And yeah, it's the stuff I speculated on. So they can see through Elf9's eyes. That's all well and good. That's fun, right? The worst part is what's been going on with Ignite mode and collecting these cursed melodies and putting them together. It's going to be one piece of the puzzle for Carol's ultimate plan. You've been, despite your character development and all that, right, you've been helping her on the side by doing this. And yeah, the audio scorers have been used to record each little piece of this, and we only need one more melody. That's the one that Leah essentially sacrifices herself to obtain, hence the little smile at the end from her. So yeah, it's what I speculated. It's nice to be confirmed correct. Elf9 is immediately suspicious of herself, or think that they also suspect that she's the mole, which only makes sense, I guess. But yeah, it was Elf9, but not how you think, right? It isn't that Elf9's bad, like I thought it may have been in the past. It's that Carol can just see through her eyes and has been kind of manipulating her. Not manipulating her, but again, seeing through her eyes. She does have a stand power as a result, though, so that's pretty good. The role of the autoscorers was to cause the gear users to sing that song, and then we'll collect the pieces, record it, send it back to HQ. So it's interesting, right? We're getting two different sets of plot reveals from two different sets of characters. I think that's pretty well done. There is a crucial piece of writing later on that would be a huge plot hole that I'm happy they put it in. It would have been nitpicky if I pointed it out, but I'll continue to do so here. If they got this piece of information and then didn't spread it really, really quickly to Chris, that would have been a huge plot hole. I'm happy that we put up a jammer to stop that from happening. That's nice. It turns out we're all dancing to Farah's tune this entire time. All that character development we thought was all for naught. Well, not all for naught, but it had bad implications. Feels so bad for Elf9 here. Please lock me away. I've been very terrible to you all. I guess Elf9 didn't know that she had the respect of the room, I guess, right? And they're just happy that she wasn't the evil one this whole time, and they give her a good old head pat. But I think the build-up's good there. I think the tension builds in the music nicely. I think it's pretty well done. I don't know what this magic coat is that Ogawa had, but it stopped the explosion from killing them, so that's good. Yeah, hand from nowhere to help. Thanks, Genjiro. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, Blue Friend and the other one. They're all nice to her. That's nice. Especially, I felt bad for Elf9 here, so it's nice that she comes out on the other side okay. The kind of twinkly strings to help the scene, especially after the tense reveal music we had before. I love how mad Carol is at seeing their heartwarming reconciliation scene. It's so funny. It's I can't believe these people, honestly. It's pretty good. She's just so pissed off. That's so good. Alright, so I didn't read this one in the moment. I've already found the replacement final piece to complete the chateau. Very, very much implied to be Ver. Okay. As a hero, I wouldn't mind being a hit with the kids too. Pause. Yeah, just an absolutely delusional fool. I don't remember seeing this transformation sequence before. Maybe it's edited in a different way. Again, I'm so bad at these. I thought it was pretty well done though, the hands through the piece and everything else. I thought it was pretty on point. And yeah, it ends with a good old Des as well, which we always like. And yeah, I've definitely read this song before, so I'm not going to reread it here. It's just kind of the introduction to the scene before Chris takes control, has her big song after the Ignite mode switch. There's some pretty rad stuff out of Leo here combat-wise though, right? This stuff here is pretty smick, right? That's pretty good. Yeah, this show's sneaky good animated, you know? It's sneaky really good. There's scenes where it's just oh, that was randomly just fantastic. And you don't really notice it until you stop and smell the roses a little bit. She says, leave the rest to me. My little sister will be here soon to save the day. What she didn't account for is that during that time that she would die, but au contraire, maybe she did, because she needs to record that final piece of the puzzle, most probably from Chris. The bye-bye from Ver is very cursed. So Chris is being kind of shit at her job, and then we get two massive coins pancaking these two together. This looks way more violent than it should, right? It looks like they're dead. Yeah, and this is Chris seeing almost the opposite moral to Kirika and Shirabe, right? It's about responsibility. The responsibility this time of a senpai for the kohai, as opposed to the responsibility of the kohai to not be, I guess, a nuisance and putting the people that they care about, i.e. the senpai, in danger. There was a little bit more like Kirika loves Shirabe, Shirabe loves Kirika stuff in it, but this one's a little more focused on Chris's journey of belonging and needing friends and not wanting to be solo and all those kind of things, right? And yeah, this is the revelation that, hey, my reckless actions up to this point have caused these people that I care about to get hurt. Again, very similar to Kirika and Shirabe's little arc. I think this one gets a lot of its weight as well, much like the Tsubasa one, from the previous time that they tried to enter Ignite mode. Chris couldn't get herself or bring herself out of this scene, needing Tsubasa, whilst trying to hold on to something herself, to pull her out of it. But after the support of Kirika and Shirabe in this endeavor, she's able to transform quite easily. A lot of references to the parents here. I almost forgot that they were like a thing, so happy they reminded me. Then Leo hits him with the "if you have time to lean, you have time to clean" line, which is good. And yeah, this is where we get that musical piece that I enjoy so much instrumentally. Very, very well done. Again, this helps Chris to see the other perspective to it all, right? The other perspective to the whole senpai-kohai relationship. We're relying on you to teach us a whole bunch of things, so don't brush us aside like this. It's not your role to simply take over, it's your role to mentor as well. And yeah, I'm not scared anymore. It's time to go. It's time to ignite. I need to show them the way. Even if others forgive me, I could never forgive myself. Bit of that, self-actualization to it all too as well, right? Instead of being purely externally motivated, a little bit internally motivated as well, as we go into her Ignite mode, I guess, transformation sequence. I love how snappy they are, right? Like, from here to here to here. Like, very well done. I know I'm on 0.5 speed, but yeah, I think it gets the job done very, very well. Just this kind of like a quick flash transformation sequence. And then Chris says a naughty word here. Fuck worrying about if you're in short or long range. I can't believe she said that. All that matters is if I hit you. It's time for my grand slam, so say your prayers. Is she playing tennis? Let me be cool for a change. I don't really get this all. It's so new for me. This is a very Chris song. Her lyrics are the funnest to read, I reckon. Again, doesn't have the greatest grasp of the Japanese language, so when it comes through in English, it's very funny as song lyrics. I was about to give up all the warmth and strength I'd finally gained out of fear of losing it. Yeah, you were doing the bad stuff. Don't do that. All I know is how to hold hands. I don't know how to reach out. But you can learn. You can learn. And then, then Chris bonks her in the head with a rifle that doubles as a club with a red-hot blaze. I thought they said red dot blaze, but both would have made sense. This world that I hate so much, it's given me this precious relationship with these kohai. It takes away precious things for sure, like my parents, but it also gives back new things for us to treasure. So probably a bit better perspective on it all than what she had previous. I don't care if I'm locked alone in a cold room, I'll manage. All that matters is that everyone else can live in a world that lets them smile. That's nice. A very Hibiki line there. Very heroic. As we see in the actual action scene itself, Chris is now riding on a giant fucking missile. This is kind of what she was going to do previous, but didn't have that bit of finesse, that little bit of backup plan to think of how she's going to get out of it. I only know how to load my bullets with my tears wishing to protect. Extremely Symphogear line. Yeah, just look at this. Whenever anybody rides a missile in this show, it's pretty good, and it happens quite often. And yet you keep putting your trust in me. From now on, our bonds will be my ammunition. Based Chris. But as we see here, little smile from Leo, knowing that, hey, I've recorded what I need to record. Time for me to go. I've done my piece of the plan, it's all going to be okay. Here we see Shirabe remembering where the switches are to close one of the doors. That's the kind of link back to that scene early in the episode where they're trying to remember. And yeah, lets Chris make her way out of it. Kirika helping the situation by pulling her with her part of her gear, I guess. Chris was only able to cut loose because she had the backup. She learned the value of friendship, the value of teamwork, the value of her kohai, the value of mentoring, and a whole bunch more stuff as well. But now the structural damage is spreading, right? Chris has made a big hole. There's water gushing somewhere, right? And yeah, there's a massive underwater object approaching the base at high speeds. So we're trying to make our way out of it, but I don't know if we're going to make it. Their submarine is making their way back to the big submarine, right? However, Leo's little sister's still approaching, and we're going to make our way out of it. Hibiki says the day of reckoning dawns, which is pretty prophetic for where she is. And yeah, it looks pretty damn bad for our heroes. Like, that's the base gone kablooey. Again, I don't think anyone's dying here. Like, I'm not stupid. Maybe some support stuff or something, which still sucks. But the base as we know it is gone. It probably has some implications about helping to stop the chateau stuff that is now all but confirmed to occur. And yeah, that's the end of the episode there. So as I said before, probably going to do episode 11 tomorrow. That just makes sense to me. It'll still be out on time as a result, and helps me to have a little bit of time before I need to edit Kubikiri Cycle tonight. So again, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow. This episode was pretty damn good on review. I like the reveals around Elf9 and that kind of stuff a little bit more than the Chris stuff, but again, it's got its high moments, especially aesthetically. I like how small, innocuous pieces of the plot, like the remembering of the shuttle things, come back very quickly. I think that's pretty well done. And yeah, seemingly setting up a kind of date with Hibiki and her father, as well as whatever's happening with the chateau with Carol and Ver. So yeah, looking forward to more tomorrow, and I'll catch you then. Hello YouTube, I'm back. It's the next day. I got home from work pretty late. What is it now? 5:30. It's a bit of a late recording, but we're gonna make it work. Symphogear episode 11. The submarine got karate chopped. And what else happened? The plan's being put into place, and Ver's involved, which we're not exactly a fan of, but he's not annoying me as much this time. I don't know what it is. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe it's a case of Stockholm Syndrome or something like that. Like I've been stuck with him so long, he's starting to become endearing to me, which I can't imagine is very healthy. But anyway, I digress. The episode is up here. And yeah, we're going to jump in, watch episode 11, 23 minutes and 40 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. And as always, picture in picture in the description below, as I'm sure you already know. And yeah, going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, submarine. Exactly where we just were, seemingly. Chopper. Oh god. Is that our hero, Elf9? What just happened? What was the audio there, too? Oh, okay, Chris has gone crazy. Alright, this is cool. Like, this is some kaiju shit. Artemis Spear, did that say? Oh. Job all done? They want to destroy everything in one shot. Do they? Bro, is Elf9 okay? We know. We established this. I'm more worried about you. Saved blue friend. She won't wake. Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. Elf9 is probably going to be okay. But yeah. What about Ver and Carol and that? That's what we need to jump into next. They seemingly have collected all of the little melody fragments from all the Ignite modes now, so, well, they're running out of auto scorers, so I hope they did. Kind of, yeah, a theme in the villain team, I guess, of death and rebirth in a way, right? So maybe in that same way, we're going to destroy, then recreate the world. That would make sense, right? Because Carol killed herself and then came back. I'm imagining that they didn't design all these auto scorers for them to just die. I'm gonna imagine they're gonna be back in some form once we get into this climax a little bit more. So yeah, I guess the plan for OVAs as well, it's gonna be tough next week. Alright, I'll say what because next week's Easter, right? Because I would like to do 12 and 13. That would make sense to me, right? But then the OVAs are kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, so I don't know. We'll see. Okay, have you improved? We're checking. We're checking. Okay, what else? Still awkward? Just don't worry, you'll be fine. It's all on him, I guess. Oh, the VA work already. I agree. Hajime no Ippo? Yeah, I agree. Then grow up here. Is Hibiki's mum that scary? Well, put that aside. Can't do it alone. But you're not doing anything at all. I mean, sometimes it's for the best. I don't know. If he's just shit, then, you know. Not the balloon. What the fuck? I agree. Sure. That's funny. Yep, that That this tracks. Thanks, Ver. With his like gross arm too. I hate this guy. Alright, he's back to the bad books for me. What is that goo? Alright. I love Carol's just faces of perpetual just like mediocrity with Ver. I do think the sky falling was kind of funny. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. You didn't listen? I think you're... We're going to talk about this. I understand why she made that leap and how it relates to alchemy as a theme. Okay. Good old dreams. Okay, he's kind of inspiring. It's inspiring if you don't know anything about Ver. Alright, cool scene. This definitely looks bad. Yeah, Hibiki, you're on. Has she now? Certainly seems as though it has. This is like some Avengers shit. Like the beam in the sky, you know? Okay. You don't sound alright. She sounds sickly. Alright, Symphogear users, we must engage. Yeah, this building too. Big comic book vibes to it. What's he taking a picture of? Oh, like the guy on the start of the show. Think about it. This guy sucks. Yeah? I wouldn't fight her. You called her short. You reckon? Yeah, you reckon? I see that your line just got cut off, so yeah. Is this finally curtains for my friend? A side character like you. Force push. I've got my harp. I don't need you. He has a lot of experience in this kind of stuff, so. My beautiful face. No, we didn't get visible confirmation of death, which means he's still alive. Yeah, she's still having the shakes. Yeah, this guy sucks. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Carol. You sure? Are you sure about that? You just said you're not used to this body. Hibiki kind of smashed you last time. I guess we used the dad as a bit of bait in the fight. Okay, using Alkanoise. Dissolve the world. Nah, I think we've progressed beyond that. Well, I do need that, though. Okay. Don't let the dad grab it. He'll probably, like, eat it or something. I'll fight you with my fist. Yeah? Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay. Heroic action number 1. Another one. Give me another one, Dad. Okay, not quite. Not quite. No, but stay strong. At this point, just put a bullet in his head. Yeah, throw a rock at her. This guy has Ver vibes too. He's just like a coward. Hmm. Oh god. He's okay. Oh, he said the line. Yeah, okay. Cool. So what I was saying yesterday, I believe. It is what it is. Kind of smells like Hibiki too. There you go, the magic words. You had forgotten. That ass is still center frame. Is he powering up? At least a little bit? Stop trying to throw rocks at Carol. This music, though. Oh, rock! Okay, kind of based. Not gonna lie. Nope. Too late. She's okay. Yeah. Now give us a new song. I can feel it. Oh my god. We'll let it slide. Okay, why are you singing? I don't understand the power system at all. Tornado? Oh, is there flying noise? I guess there always has been. Yeah, it's true. I guess seeing it on a TV and seeing it live is different. Yeah, maybe this will inspire you to be not so shit. Oh, throw another rock. That seemed to be working. I feel like all the friends should show up just about now though, right? You'd think. Oh, and then the words in the song there, that was nice. Super uppercut. Okay. That was more than a super uppercut. That was some math bullshit. There we go. Okay. Uh the dad does need some help though. What was that? Oh, the reinforcements, they are here. Is she crossing her arms? That's kind of insane. Yeah, the whole gang's here. Yeah, okay. Even Ogawa. Okay, Ogawa, I'll get in the car. If Ogawa pulled up to me like on the side of the road and said, "Get in the car," I'd get in that car. He's just trustworthy. You just like uppercutted her. Now you're telling her to stop? Ooh. Another. Did she have a transformation sequence last time? Yes, she did. I remember this. Yes, I definitely remember this. Going adult again. As you do. Got that Infinity Stone hat. Yes, I do remember. But we beat her. Song. Legit song. What is it? Yeah. I mean, I knew she had a good voice, so Oh my god. Singing about genocide, though. So familiar. Oh. I didn't know it was some Zesshou. She's using alchemy to do some superb song stuff without any like kind of recoil. Yeah, she's got a fantastic voice. Oh, the Towie is resonating. Oh, I guess that works shape wise. Should we stop the giant Avengers laser from destroying the world? I guess we can't get close. Yeah, that's really bad. Are those ley lines? That would make sense. There you go. Okay, Dad. Uh, yeah, I agree. Sucks to be those guys. Oh, like literally dissecting it too. Caught in the spider web. I do have my armed gear. It's like this. Big old fist. Okay. It's time to hold hands. It's a bit early to be holding hands. Chris is always like, gun will solve this. Yeah, seemingly so. Oh god, that's not an insignificant amount of noise. Oh, this is like the opening. Yeah, but what's the kicker here, right? I feel like we're approaching the end of the episode. I imagine we're going to see some auto scorers. Question mark? Yeah, not going good for these three. Yeah, you keep saying that, but what does it mean? Sure, okay. Oh, I imagine we'd have a more concrete kind of hook to the next episode. But yeah, no, we're just fighting. Fighting's cool. So yeah, we started to do the climax of the show, right? Not the show, the season. You know what I mean. So this episode was to reconcile a lot of the daddy Hibiki stuff, which I think they did a pretty good job with. I was predictive of the whole magic words part of it, I guess. I guess I like how innocuous the magic words are. Like it was a very small statement of resilience, but at a formative age that it's carried on. Um, I still think the dad has a long way to go, and I still think that he needs to work hard to regain his spot in the family. You don't just walk out and get to walk back in, and of course the mum will have a lot of say in that too. But seemingly he is setting himself up for another moment of helping the cause here later on. So we'll see where that goes. And yeah, contrast that with Carol, who has made a grand misunderstanding of her father's words, I guess. Oh, here we go. This may be our hook. What am I looking at? Hi, Mom. What are you doing here? Okay. Okay, cool. Looks like we're going to dive into a little bit of whatever the hell that was. I've got some opinions on the end stuff there as well. And it's a validity, I guess. So that was episode 11 of Symphogear GX. Yeah, this is okay. I like how dire and world spanning our major climax seems to be. We've done that. We've gone bigger each time, so it's only natural we go bigger again. I'm going to imagine this ends in some spatial farce at some point, right, where we're going to punch like Super Mega Carol or something. Like that part of it's cool, putting together a lot of the kind of different things that the evil team have been doing, like all around the place to make this work and make this make sense as a climax has been fun. I think the daddy issue stuff could use some work. I'm going to get into it a little bit and how we could make it better maybe. I do like that Carol's back and being a bad bitch. That's cool. And we have a couple of songs to read. A song from Carol as well. Such a good singer too. Is it Minori Inase? Am I getting that right? Let me check. Yes, I am seemingly correct about that. Great singing voice. Definitely a talented VA, but I'm sure we all knew that. And yeah, that other Hibiki song hit pretty hard. Again, her chorus is just slap. I do think this went past a little bit quickly. What we have on screen right now, the kind of submarine, the base getting threatened, that kind of didn't really come to pass at all. Chris just kind of saved the day. So the kind of hook lead into the next episode there didn't really come to fruition, in my opinion. And then, yeah, the kind of what the fuck reveal at the end of Mom being there. I think that this is like some gas messing with heads or something, right? Like it isn't actually Mom. It's like ignite mode fears being personified by something. There's something there, right? Like, why are the three girls that are associated with Mom hallucinating and seeing Mom? Like, there's something in that. It kind of looked a little bit foggy in the area. But again, we'll see. Maybe it just is Mom and she's been reanimated from the dead. I hope not. Either way, jumping into the episode now. Overall verdict, pretty good. It had its good parts, had its bad parts. We'll dive in. Yeah, kind of this doesn't really go anywhere, IMO. But, I mean, we've got to keep on chugging, so... I guess the thing it kind of does most for the plot is the Elf9 stuff. Elf9 is somewhat incapacitated. She's a little bit hurt. It also shows how desperate she is to help these people that she's been working with for a while now, kind of on the bridge. Got all her bridge buddies there, which is good. Yeah, Chris just kind of jumps out of the walls and hits him with a Artemis Spiral. Artemis Spiral, I would say. And yeah, that's enough to incapacitate and destroy the little sister. This was pretty touching, I thought. Again, Elf9's just like a sweetie, so, you know, it's hard not to be sympathetic. Now, I don't know how good my Japanese is, but I'm pretty sure that this episode is called Heiki Heichara, because that's what we're translating it as, don't worry, you'll be fine. So yeah, that's only natural. The kind of magic words from the past there coming to fruition. A lot of Hibiki's resilience in that, I guess, to the point where even Miku's using it. So I mean, it's pretty much her catchphrase at this point, you know. I guess it's the courage here to have the hard conversations as well, even though she doesn't get the answer she wants initially. Like he's still so much of a pussy that he can't even like face the woman that he married, about like being a massive pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Hibiki has to use these words for encouragement to save the world. You have to use them to face your wife, right? I don't think they've divorced. Like there's levels to this, and you're not on the top one, you know? Like, contrasting Hibiki with, like, no hesitation saving the world, and this guy needing Hibiki to introduce and put in a good word and do all that for him to reconcile relations with the woman he married. Yeah, you're still a scumbag. But he has some good stuff this episode. We'll get into it. I like the small character design stuff that we've done with him. A little bit of stubble. His hair's more unkempt than it is in the past. T-shirt, not really, you know, business attire. He's just kind of a schlub, you know. I mean, I say that, and I've got basically every single thing that I've just said about him. like with me. But it's different, okay? It's different. Could we make a small connection between doing this alone, I can't do this alone, and kind of our themes from the previous episode about going out on your own and needing help and these kind of things, right? There are certain things that you do need to do on your own and take responsibility for, but there was also certain things that you can rely on your friends and have backup for as well. I think this is also exhibited in the episode when she gets those reinforcements right when she needs them, you know? The more and more the show is impressing me instrumentally. Like, these are just good tracks to soundtrack the scenes that they've created for them. So just props there. I probably don't talk about it enough. This is a bit of a weird one. So I thought the kind of child falling in the balloon would be a lead in a little bit more to another further conversation with the father with Hibiki. But no, we see the balloon raise. It's just kind of a lead for the eye to see the ensuing disaster that's about to happen. You guys seen that one episode of Futurama? Anyway, or like the Simpsons movie for that matter. There's lots of different stuff. Yeah, so I don't know where the chateau was, but it has since emerged from the sky, kind of breaking out of its different dimension, I guess. Oh yeah, I forgot about Ver getting absolutely like destroyed this episode. That's fun. He did have a bunch of like sticky white stuff all over his hand, all over his giant, kind of gross, grotesque, disfigured, terrible hand, which is, not exactly a fan of. I think Carol's face is probably mine here as well. I do like that Carol just uses him, like, openly. And yeah, they let him just choose scenery for a while, which is always fun. So I guess Ver wasn't listening when she said what her plan was, because when he learns that she's going to shatter the world, that means there's going to be no world for me to be the action hero in. So I guess that's bad. Alright, we're going to have a talk about this too. So shattering the world, that's the task my father kind of left for me, right? Kind of like Hibiki. These are the magic words that I'm going to guide my life by, right? This is the final goal. This is the final time that I'll see him. Hibiki's lucky enough that the dad's still around, right? Well, yes and no, but you know what I mean. Live on and experience more of the world. So in its translated form, I'm sure that this is very obvious to anybody. What he's trying to say here is not, you should try and shatter the world and, kill everybody. He's trying to say, broaden your horizons, use this opportunity that I have given you to live your life. And these kind of things, right? Pretty sure that's fairly obvious. But it only makes sense that Carol, studying alchemy, being aware of alchemy, would hear these words and then be like, oh, so you mean break it down into its core components and then reassemble it, or even maybe not even reassemble it. Like, the trauma of this event probably didn't help matters as well. Like, I think the alchemist element is key to all of this, right? Like, not exactly, like, seeing it a little bit literally rather than, emotionally. I guess as the series go on, I expect Carol to live. I expect Carol to try and live on and do this, right? And become probably a permanent side fixture of the Symphogear verse, I guess. But again, that all will be revealed as we continue in the show. Yeah, thinking slightly back on those words, and then, I understand, father, and then these eyes, like the crazy, like, I do not understand. This is what this is telling me, right? Yeah, experience the world. That means dissect and analyze the world. The secrets of the universe. Open them up. No. He means more like make some friends. Like, you could do that, right? You kind of did with like 4 different dolls. And yeah, what will you do once you gain all the knowledge of the world after dissecting it? Nothing. Father said to do nothing after that, so I don't know what I will do. Like, no, like, hyper focus on one objective, no amount of, like, self actualization, any of that stuff after it, right? There's no personality there. It's merely robotic. It's order complete. Even stupid ass Ver, as emotionally inept as he is, can see the problem here, which is kind of funny. Kind of speaks really poorly on Carol at this moment. His mistake here was calling this a paltry mission, and then she takes offense to that and dispatches of good old Ver, now that she doesn't need him anymore. So everyone's getting the call, we're going to put the plan into motion, the climax is beginning, if it wasn't already clear. Elfenheim wants to stick around and kind of refuses being taken to a hospital bed. I guess question marks here, this is a different submarine, is it? I guess? Maybe it's separated from the rest. So Hibiki's role right now is to help with evacuation. So again, okay, we are directly contrasting a couple things from early in the season. Remember the guy that I think Gary, like, sucked his soul out of his body, but he was, like, filming randomly, just like a what has happened, the kind of the disaster footage to sell them later. Kind of a bit of a scumbag, kind of faux paparazzi type. And we're faced with Hibiki saving people again, right? There's that contrast there. Also early in the season, we have the dad that kind of refuses to take responsibility for some kids that need to be evacuated as well. And now this is coming to, roost again as well. Like, this is one of the more clear examples of the clashing between Hibiki and her father and how they're like at this moment and why she feels betrayed by this supposed change in his character. Yeah, just like scum. I don't like this. Ver's on one here and probably takes it a bit too far. And yeah, he crosses the most important line of all, which is calling her short. You can't be doing that. This is some classic anime stuff with subs, right? So I'll go out here. If you see that and then that dash, you know that something's going to happen to him by the end of the line. He gets interrupted, right? Classic. And yeah, he gets interrupted with a harp through the stomach, so that's no fun. Again, Ver lives on. We do not see him die on screen, so he can pop out of the walls some other place in some other season for sure, and continue chewing the scenery as he does. I do like when Carol pours on the crazy a little bit more. Like, it's good voice performance, the intensity picks up there as well. It's pretty nice. Like, she's not scary. I still think there's obviously some amount of what's the word, sympathy there, right? She's not completely monstrous, but she can also seem threatening at the same time. It's nice. I think they've hit that good balance. Carol is still having these, again, I don't know, like nervous attacks, like heart something, you know what I mean? Like, she just stops every now and again. Surely this is going to come up in a very dire moment and probably ruin some things that she wants to happen, I guess. So Carol goes out and meets Hibiki and her father, seemingly still holding a grudge from what has happened in the past. Starts monologuing, revealing parts of the plan to Hibiki a little bit, kind of using alkanoids to dissect the world, kind of, again, what we've been setting up throughout the season. It's shooting like a tuning fork type beam into the earth, and then it's going to make like the photosphere with a bunch of beams. Like everything that's been built up, it just makes sense, right? Like just dissecting the world, we're literally like dissecting it. And this is the setup for the start of the action scene here. It's that Hibiki's relic gets separated from her. She can't transform. I guess relic fragment, whatever we're calling it, anyway, terms. So contrast Hibiki like this, like ready to fight, with what the dad does later on. That's a pretty obvious one about the difference between the two characters. My father entrusted me with this mission. What did your father entrust you with? No, that isn't true for me. There is nothing for me. Au contraire. There are some very special words that we'll get into. Dad with a small W here jumps in the way of one of the beams to save Hibiki, but as soon as there's multiple, he starts to run again and leaves her behind. Yeah, it's one step forward, two steps back with this guy, you know? And him running away like that reminds her of what has happened in the past. Of course, again, very obvious stuff. Carol could be accused of just playing with her food here a little bit and probably should have just finished the job, but, villain's gonna do villain stuff. I do like the setup here of the dad throwing rocks. It comes back later when he picks up the relic fragment and throws it at Hibiki. Again, you could twist this, right? Is he being a distraction to help Hibiki escape? But again, does he know what Hibiki does? She doesn't escape. That's not her style. And then he says the line, say the line, but Heki hechara. Essentially, don't worry, I'll be fine. It's okay. Reassurance, persistence, I'll be okay. Like all these thoughts, right? But more importantly, it's the reminder to Hibiki of those words from the past, a thing that her father has actually taught her that has become integral to her life and something that inspires a change in her in this scene. We see little Hibiki here too, which is quite adorable. He cuts a potato, slices his finger slightly. Don't worry, I'll be okay. And yeah, of course, young Hibiki internalizes those words and uses it in a lot of her, goings on and how we've seen her throughout the rest of the show, right? There was some actual form of parenting here that was executed well and stuck with the kid and made her a better person. So, thumbs up for that. Dad of the past. Dad of the future could use some stuff like this, for sure. You could probably do a side-by-side with this frame and some other smiles of Hibiki in the rest of the show. This is definitely giving me some familiar vibes for sure. Yeah, isn't this just precious? Like, this is good stuff. I like this. And there's almost like some faux Western music as he stands up here and broadens his shoulders and, he's actually brave for a change. That's nice. And even though these lines are a little bit on the nose, I think they still hit quite well. Again, the music's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. And yeah, here's the connection after throwing a few rocks. He throws one final rock, a very important rock, to Hibiki. And yeah, action scene and song ensues. Yeah, Hibiki's just cool, like emerging from the dust, realizing that she's had something from her father this entire time, something to keep her going, thinking back to all the times in the past that she may have used these words for a little bit of inspiration, right? So I'm imagining this is post-concert when she's in a pretty bad way and needs to, she's on crutches and, in and out of hospital and that kind of thing. Then we've seen this, people being not very nice for circumstances that we've talked about. This is the line that irks me a little bit. It's not that he's always been looking out for her, it's that you internalized a small piece of advice from a young age and have used that to spur yourself on. You should be congratulating yourself, like more than the father, I think, right? That you've been able to be resilient this entire time. Don't blame the words. Maybe the words are emblematic of a parenting style that we don't get to see a lot of in the show. A bit more early in life that taught her these lessons, maybe. I don't know, it's a hard one to say. I think Hibiki's kind of selling herself short and giving her dad a lot of credit here. And then, yeah, we get a new song from Hibiki. The chorus slaps, because of course it does, because it's a Hibiki song. And yeah, gonna have a little bit of a read now. Miracles dwell in my mechanized arm. I realize its meaning when I clench my fist. Miracles? Miracles have been a big thing, of course, right? From the start of the season to now, so are we gonna see that come back in the climax? You would imagine so, right? Just makes sense. Those usual uneventful days are the dream for which I fight. Very interesting paused frame there too. I can let you feel its warmth. It doesn't always have to be words. What, like a hand instead of maybe words? That tracks for sure. There is an answer in my punch, an answer without any weapons. Yeah, it's an armed gear. It is an armed gear that both punches and holds hands. Shocking, I know. 3 seasons in. One hit love, I'll blow you away with this love song. I believe in justice. Sure, whatever you say, Hibiki. I'll believe in justice and grip it tight, as we see the father thinking back on his actions in the past and maybe how he can learn from Hibiki's resilience now as well, kind of spurring each other on. That's nice, I think. We can start over even if things are broken, and just as that happens, we get the stop in the scene right, and we need maybe some help to get her out of this jam. The words of her father spur her on again, and we lead into the chorus here. And we very obviously start with a heiki hechara. Using those words, again, it's the thesis statement of the song. It only makes sense. It doesn't matter what has happened before, let our hearts sing together. Even a tiny bit of courage is still courage. Sure, whatever you say. And we have Hibiki breaking through these barriers with her super fist. And there is a super mega uppercut that sends Carol flying. The dad is seemingly threatened at the end of this scene as well. Who will save the dad? Oh no. I would let him die, honestly. Nah, hang on. I wouldn't let him die. I'd let him suffer a bit longer, though. Yeah, and that's when we get the reinforcements are here. All the other gear users have united together, and we're going to face Carol. So, based off our little bit of power scaling we've had from the previous battle with Carol, seemingly they should win, right? It was Hibiki plus already a little bit weary Tsubasa and Chris that defeated her last time, and pretty handily too. So if there's 6 of them versus her, she should lose. However, there are, I guess, circumstances that are different than last time. Let's call it that. Just a small highlight here for Tsubasa standing on top of her sword, crossed arms. Just like real badass pose. Liked it. I like that as soon as everyone's there, she's right back on her please stop, Carol. We can do peace now. Right after I've punched her in the stomach after having my hero moment. Not always the pacifist, are you? And yeah, we get Carol transformation sequence again, right? Using the right? The harp, right? It has a name. I'll read it. Still a pretty rad transformation sequence either way. I do like the hat. It is goddamn fabulous. There you go, the Faust robe of Dor Dabla. It shines just like our Symphogear, and it does a lot of other stuff like the Symphogear as well. As we find out, generating phonic gain. So even though none of the process that we've seen so far to make Symphogears has occurred, through the power of alchemy and a bunch of other bullshit, I'm sure, she is able to do it. So that's fun. Singing a superb song helps her get that power boost that makes the, battle a little bit more fair than it was previously. Yeah, we get a song out of Carol. Again, I predicted this at the very start, right? I'm like, you don't hire somebody for Symphogear and then not get them to sing, right? That'll just be heresy. So yeah, let us read the song here. I've said a number of times already that I think her voice is fantastic. Again, not unexpected. And the song definitely has that villain energy to it in a different way to the other songs thus far. Really nice stuff. I enjoyed this a lot. Let the canon of the end reverb. Let all hear the gospel of massacre. Yes, definitely villainous. Something about genocide there as well here in a bit. I wage war on the particle level and lead this rebellion to glory. The particle level thing, yeah, definitely. That is your whole bag. Space is warped and the sun freezes. Yeah, genocide and genocide, of course. Yes, genocide. Woo! You won't have a drop of blood left. I'll squeeze you dry with wrath and brute force. I do like it's almost staccato flow in the singing that I really like too. Intimidating, almost like she's spitting it out with a bit of venom. It's nice. Cower and fall. The world will be shattered by this love song. Love song? Whatever you say. I vowed to kill the future. I'm going to burn up all the paths. This is a little bit frustrating because you hear her absolutely like belting in the background and these two goobers are talking over the top of it. I just want to hear the song, man. I'm going to burn up all the paths and turn that weak smile, never turning back. I mean, this is just anti-Hibiki song, really. Into the finale of the song that will destroy the world. That's the end of that line there as well. I see no love, I know no love, I'll put an end to love. She hates love, if you haven't noticed. The chateau is resonating with this song as well, and yeah, this is what causes the big bad to start to occur. The big beam shooting down at the earth. Never a good sign in these kind of things, right? And then it's just kind of chaos from here. There's characters fucking flying everywhere and doing different shit. I'll try to keep heads and tails of it here a little bit. Yeah, waves of energy crisscrossing the planet. Where have we seen this before? The photosphere. Kind of following that kind of piece of heretical technology as a kind of blueprint for what she's trying to do. Again, the photosphere was to do with ley lines as well, so yes, there's the connection to the rest of the plot as well with the ley lines. The father is seemingly going to be a presence on the bridge as we enter the climax as well, probably giving some words of guidance to Hibiki and the like. Sucks to be these fishermen, just a side note, like they get rocked. That's bad. Hibiki can't quite punch her in the head. She needs an armed gear maybe to make it that far. It's a little bit cute. Maria here takes the initiative, says she's going to stop that huge machine. Again, with the help of Kirika and Shirabe. People don't need to do things alone anymore. You have support. Yeah, we're going to help you in that endeavor. Hence, that's why they drive into that crack and see Mum and do all that weird shit later on. So yeah, essentially we have Carol versus our main three and the new three going into the chateau and seeing what they may find in there. As I noted in the reaction, Chris is... God bless Chris, but she just shoots. She doesn't really have much else of a plan. Yep, dive into that hole there. I wonder what they may find inside the chateau. Vital signs of these three are critical as, you know... She's there, we're fighting, this is the action scene. So, interesting question, right? Where do we go now? I would imagine the auto scorers make some sort of return, there's some kind of big battle, everyone's just fighting and shit. But I don't see where some other shoes drop plot-wise. I guess the daddy issues was one of the major ones for Hibiki's stuff, and everybody else got a lot of theirs resolved through their little mini arcs to do with the different auto scorers and that. So... It's a weird one, right? I honestly don't think I could tell you. I really don't. Yeah, so see how, like, dusty and gassy it is and stuff, right? Like, this just says Mirage to me, right? I could just be complete. They could have reanimated the dead, what do I know? But I don't think they did, so I'm thinking that this is a little more of a mind journey for these three to see how far they've come in the eyes of Mom, who was the mentor from the previous season. Has there been growth here for these three? Tangibly, yes. So hopefully they pass this little test with flying colors. I guess that's all I can say. It's kind of a what the fuck. It's too much of a what the fuck to even consider as real, I don't think. And yeah, that was episode 11. Again, had its high points, had its lower points. Overall enjoyed it, always do. And yeah, we're doing the action thing now. The music was killer. Upon analysing both the new Hibiki song and the Carol song, they're both just great. Both have some distinct advantages over each other as well. Different styles clashing there. Again, denoting the difference between our hero and our villain. And yeah, as I said before, where do we go from here? I got no clue. I don't even know what to say. There's going to be fighting. But again, that is such a milquetoast prediction that it doesn't even really count. Again, we'll do the two next week and finish off Symphogear GX. What to do about the OVAs, we will see. Just my show stuff before I leave here. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, write in various recommendation channels on Discord and talk about Symphogear on Discord, or anything I might have missed, or anything that you want to add, or anything else really. I'm open for business there. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week for the finale of Symphogear GX. Right here, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next week.